So today's going to be a no BS guide on escaping the rat race, my plan to live life on my terms. So welcome to the video, guys. I hope you're having a good day, good week. Hope everything's been well. So I guess the first thing we need to do is define what the rat race is. And that's pretty much I guess everyone's opinion is going to be different on it, but my opinion is the necessity to have to work for an employer for a minimum of 38 hours or 5 days a week. That definition might change for you. Maybe the rat race for you is working 60 hours and you want to reduce that down to 30. Or maybe it means working for someone altogether. Maybe you'd like to become a digital nomad. But we've got to look further into this. I guess, what is it that causes this need or the necessity to need to work for an employer? And it always seems to come down to a couple of things, and that's going to be debt, weekly bills, and not having any other income streams. Now, some bills you just can't avoid in life. Like, you're going to have monthly things like a phone bill. You're going to have the rates bill to keep the heat on in your house. You're going to have the power bill. There's some things you can't avoid. But there are other debts that you can avoid, like a car payment. Eventually, you can get rid of a mortgage payment, or hopefully even get to the point where you can have a mortgage instead of renting. Now, I guess if we're going to break this down and go step by step, the fastest way to fix these things is to pay off this debt and then find other income streams. And that means investing. So what is it that we're going to invest in? Today we're going to talk about a few different things, but let's go back to paying off debt. If you're looking to get rid of debt, I dare say look into people like Dave Ramsey. You don't have to follow his stuff word for word, but basically once you free up debt, you can free up that money. So for the moment, the 9 to 5 is not going to be enough. You're going to need to push it, find a side hustle, or work more hours at work. That's the simplest way. Put in the overtime. I was always on the fence about side hustles, but you'd be surprised what you can do. You can garden, you can mow some lawns, you can make an extra couple of $100 a week if you really do put the time in. But yeah, so pay some debt off and then start to invest. Now, invest on what? The main things for me have been dividends, growth stocks, and REITs. Now, real simple, a dividend is essentially, let's say you give, Tom $1,000, and Tom says, you know what, man, for putting in $1,000 in my company, I'm going to give you a 10% dividend. Of course, yes, if you understand what dividends are, 10% is quite high, but we'll keep the maths nice and simple. A dividend is basically, if you show a company loyalty and invest in them, they will give you money back each month, every 3 months, every 6 months, whatever. So if they give you 10% back, that means for the $1,000 that you gave Tom and his company, it's going to give you $100. Now, I understand that this doesn't sound like a lot of money, but over time, you keep stacking your investments, and then you take that the $100 that Tom gives you, and you buy more into his company. And as you can see, this grows, and this is how we start what's called a dividend snowball. And the idea of this is the snowball's tall, but if you start putting more and more snow on it and then roll it down the hill, over time it becomes this massive monstrosity and this unstoppable force. So that's dividends. Then you've got growth stocks, which is, I guess, like things like Facebook, Amazon. It's where you put money in. They don't pay a dividend, but they reinvest the money they earn back into the company, which makes the company profit more, which pushes the price up. And that means, obviously, year for year, the price is going to go up and up and up. And then if you brought in at $100 and then it's worth $1,000 after 10 years, there you go. You've made more money. And then we've got REITs. REITs is essentially the simplest way to get into real estate if you don't have the money or the knowledge. It stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts, and they're companies that basically buy commercial real estate, think hotels, shopping malls, and from there they have to pay out the rental income that they make to people that invest into these. So once you've already removed your debt and you're investing in stocks, it becomes about, you need to make a blueprint for you. So I've already cleared up most of my debt except for my mortgage and a very small car payment. And the way that I guess I'm doing this is I bust my ass at work. I do 50 to 60 hours every single week. From here, I put away, I get paid weekly here in Australia. It might be different where you're from, maybe monthly, but you want to put away the money every single week. Squeeze away every single penny that you can. If you want to get out of this rat race, you need to do what other people aren't going to do. You know, if you want extraordinary results, you need to do extraordinary. That's what extraordinary is. Extraordinary things. I'm talking about next time you think about going out to the restaurant or getting takeaway and wasting $50, just make something cheap at home. Then at the end of the month, when you realize you've got all this leftover money, it's either time to start paying down your smallest debt every single month, or you start investing in the things that I've mentioned before. So, like I said, got my mortgage, my small car payment. At the end of the month, I split the money 50-50 between putting extra on the car payment and investing. Now, I like to invest in several different funds, but I'll break that down further. Of course, this isn't investment advice. Look into these things, do your own research. I'm just some random dude on the internet. Basically, I invest in the American S&P 500, the 500 largest cap businesses in America. Year after year, over the long period, it generates between 7 to 10%. So essentially, it's growing and I'm putting money back into it. So I split it into the S&P 500. From there, I've got a dividend ETF, which is helping replace my income as well. I can't really break down how quick this stuff grows once you start putting money into it, but it pays me an income. And from there, because I'm still working, I just put all this money back into stocks and into the dividend. I don't have money in REITs yet, but I'm planning to do that. So my portfolio will be broken down 30, 30, 30, 33% into each one of those, which will give me a nice little risk tolerance. But the main thing from all this, guys, is that you need to understand that you're either going to pay for it now or you're going to pay for it later. I'm sure you've seen all these old people that are struggling, that are eating rice and beans, which has basically come because they went and they splurged up in their younger life, or maybe they had something going later in life and things didn't go to plan. But the point is that you can sacrifice now or sacrifice later. Just think, 10 years. That's all you've got to do is put the hard yards in for 10 years. All of a sudden, if you can build a stock portfolio worth $500,000 and it's giving you 10% returns every year, or a little bit lower, depending on how conservative you want to go, you're going to have $40,000 to $50,000 in your pocket every single year. Now, you might say, well, that's great, but that's not enough to completely replace my income. And maybe it won't be. But if you've only got to go to work for 1 or 2 days a week, that's a lot more freedom than what you are having right now. So we'll break these steps down again, guys. Get out of debt, stay out of debt. Credit card debt, I learnt luckily when I was younger about how painful that stuff can be. I had a $2,000 debt, and because of how high the interest rate was, it took me the longest time to pay that out. But once you clear out your debts, you're going to want to look into ways that you can invest. Everyone says that, oh, you lose money investing, blah, blah, blah. Ask these people what they've invested in, and I guarantee you they'll either tell you single shares or stocks, which is never a good idea. I'm not a fan of that. I always say invest broad market. Simply buy the market. You can't go wrong. Look at books like John C. Bogle's The Common Sense Little Book of Investing, I believe it's called. As well as that, just get rid of debt, start to invest, and sit back. It's not sexy. It's going to be hard, but if you do this, I guarantee you will be able to escape the rat race. I am planning on doing like a monthly update on my investments. If that's something that you'd like to see, please do comment down below. The other thing is, the younger you start, obviously the better this is going to be, because you're going to buy yourself more time. But as well as that, people don't understand even small little amounts. Maybe you've only got $50 left at the end of pay week. If you can invest that and just be consistent with you, I promise you it's going to make a difference. I know people that work in the mines that make 150, 160 grand a year that have fucking nothing to show for it because they blow this money and waste it And then on the other end, I know people that stock shelves at supermarkets that just put away $80 to $100 a week in their stocks, and they have for the last 10 years, and they have more money put aside and are going to be better off than these people that are working away from home and just blowing their money on brand new cars and racking up debt. So if you've gotten anything out of this, I want you to please go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and drop a comment for the algorithm. I'm trying to make videos on this fresh channel. It's getting hard with the algorithm trying to pick up with how many people do things on YouTube. I know that's not your problem, but I would appreciate the support. And if you've really gotten something out of this, feel free to click the link down below to buy me a cup of coffee. You can make just a one-off, or you can subscribe to the monthly, whatever you want to do. I appreciate it. Let me know down below, what is your plan to get ahead and get out of this rat race? Because I know obviously if you're here, you're smart. You're looking at other online finance content. All right, have a great day. Let me know.